kinds of heritage walks these days. Some take people around a city's landmarks, others cover the city's traditions or history. I'm in Bangalore today to join a walking tour called Death by Dosa. Let's explore where this walk leads us today.
The 3.5 hour tour combined Dosa with the history of one of Bangaluru's oldest neighborhoods, Chickpet, conducted by a boutique experiential tour company Gully Tours, which was set up in 2009. That by Dosa is one of the most popular walks in the city. Away from the sleeker and cleaner parts of the bustling megapolis, lined with glass facade buildings and minimalist design cafes, Chickpet overflows with stores and buildings fighting against the passage of time. The sari mills, gold jewelry, and retail shops lining the streets are reminiscent of an era before Bangalore became India's Silicon Valley and startup hub. The tour lead, Dhiren Kanted, explained that Chickpet area was conceived by Kempegowda, who was one of the ministers in the Vijayanagara Empire. He was the first person who came and settled in the area and set up the commerce in the 1500s. The tour took off from a corner of Chickpet in front of a coffee truck operated by Karnataka Coffee Board. The first stop of the dosa walk was Chikanna Tiffin Room, where participants were served mini masala dosas. Next on the menu was Puri Dosa at Lakshmi Nataraj Tiffins, and lastly Khali Dosa at Dhruti Tiffin Room, which was mostly a hole on the wall eatery. One of the participants in the walk was Alakshi Tomar, who works as a gender and business consultant.
So a couple of our friends had actually come for this tour. So we basically saw it on the Instagram page, and that's how we ended up here. I mean, personally, if you ask me, that I've been to a lot of walks in Goa, even in Bangalore, like Cubbon Park Walk, and so I'm very interested in the history part of things. Not too much of a foodie, but yeah, I think one part was the history of like an area in Bangalore, and the other part was obviously the dosas.
The conversation naturally revolved around dosa, but occasionally drifted to real estate when attendees in their 20s and 30s gathered in front of a decrepit colonial era wooden structure called Mohan Building. Tour lead Kantid said the monthly rent here might be rupees 40 to 50,000, but the goodwill amount to get the shop might be rupees 50 to 60 lakh. But dosa remained at the center of the walk. A participant, Pranav Bhosle, who has been working as a software engineer living in Bangalore for the last 2 years, discovered new aspects about dosa after the walk.
Because most of the dosas that I eat, I keep hearing that Rameshwaram dosa is overrated. There are much better spots in Bangalore that you can go to. So I thought, yeah, maybe this will help me find those spots. That's how I ended up. Oh yeah, it definitely exceeded my expectations. So the best thing is that I realized today that a lot of the places around my house, in which I stay in Bellandur, so all the dosas I've been eating over there, the batter is a little bit over fermented. The dosas are more sour, but everything I ate today, it was so fresh and so nice to have like that exact amazing kind of texture. Every dosa was different in its own way. I had like a certain thing that I liked about each of the dosas. It was overall like very good, very satisfying. So I think like most of us are used to seeing dosas, idlis, or like in general South Indian food as a very breakfast kind of an option. But staying in Bangalore for 2 years, I have realized that I can do with dosa any time of the day. It can be like a midnight snack for me. I can have it as a first thing in the day, or even like on some afternoon where I don't want to stuff myself, just want to have some light snack. Dosa is the perfect thing to have.
The tour was helmed by Kantid, a scientist by day involved in producing and purifying proteins, who conducts these walks over the weekend to indulge in his love for history and food.
So I've been doing walking tours for the last 5 months, and that is how I've been doing it part time for the last 4 5 months. But before that, I joined this program called City Explorer program that was set up by Gully Tours, wherein they were trying to mobilize people from the community to start learning about how to lead walks, and they had different things that we had different workshops wherein we were trained to become a better tour lead, and we had a 6 week workshop that we finished, and after that once that thing was over, they selected us. We were a group of 20, and then from that 5 people were selected, and we became a new batch of tour leads for the last since January of 2024. Yeah, so to summarize, Death by Dosa, it is what it is. It is Death by Dosa. We hit dosa spots. We try to curate these spots to be different so that we can show you the different variety that you can find in Chickpet. And not only that, the whole melting pot that is Chickpet and the different cultures that have intertwined into telling these beautiful stories. I just feel that these stories need to be said more often, and people who are interested in knowing how culture has played a role in the history of Bangalore and how Bangalore has evolved as a city do come to the Chickpet tour, because you can really see a side of Bangalore that is not shown to the in the other places. So Chickpet is definitely one of those places which is rich in heritage, and there's a lot of different stories, and everywhere you look there's a new thing. It's just a sensory explosion when you be here. So dosa in essence is one of those things that is comfort food for most people living here. It's something that we can eat at any point, and something that you won't be bored of because of the variety that there is in dosa and the different types of dosa. So dosa in a sense is not like there is not a generic dosa. The amount of variety that is in dosa, it holds significance for many different people with the different ways that they eat it. Some people prefer it with sambar, some people with chutneys, with different kinds of chutneys and different level of crispiness and all that. There's a lot of individuality when it comes to dosa with preferences, but in general dosa is something that has bound the whole south of India together to keep it like the staple, because it is comfort food. So metaphorically speaking, yes, at the end of the walk most people are like, yes, I can't eat any more dosa. They're like, the palates are saturated for that couple days at least. But I think the love for dosa just keeps coming back. It doesn't get saturated. It's something that keeps coming back, and it keeps growing. You can't get bored of dosa is what I feel, because I really can't get bored of dosa. I could have dosa every day of the week. So death by dosa, metaphorically, for that day, yes, it will happen because you'll be satisfied.
This is Monami Gogoi reporting for The Print from Bangalore.